Hey guys, what's up? It's KJ with Poppin' Politics. What a great way to start off America Week and gear up for the 4th of July. The Supreme Court issued a ruling today that Donald Trump's claim of presidential immunity to shield himself from federal prosecution is valid for official acts, but not for unofficial conduct. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the BET Awards, Kamala Harris and Taraji P. Henson's cringe conversation, and then also Taraji's unhinged monologue. We're going to talk about that and more next. Hello. It is Monday and it's time for Pop and Politics. We are talking about the latest in hot topics, news, and entertainment. I'm KJ, and back with us tonight is Yana. All right. And then also Shelly E.
Hi.
All right. As I always say, join the conversation by leaving a comment on YouTube or Twitter. We will check the comments periodically throughout the show. And don't just comment, subscribe. We have a lot of new people here with us. We're so happy to have you. So you're going to fit right in with our Pop and Politics family. So as I always say, if you miss us here on YouTube, you can watch us on Rumble or listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the same name, Pop and Politics. Guys, we are an independent movement, growing, but independent. And if you want to support what we do, your super chats and donations go a long way in helping us produce conservative content. Any amount is appreciated. This is not just a podcast. As I said, this is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that understand there's a target on our backs because we value freedom. But we must still stand. Let's stand together and amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, ladies, let's set it off. How are you all doing tonight?
Pretty good.
I'm doing well. I'm enjoying the summer a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just came back from vacation, so I feel great.
Good. Yes. Well, we're happy to have you back, Yana. And today is July 1st, the 1st of July, first day of Freedom Week of, America's birthday. Independence Day is coming up, 4th of July. And so we're going to talk about that a little later as well. But breaking news out today. Breaking news, good news, actually, for Trump supporters, as ourselves are. As I mentioned, the Supreme Court came out and ruled that he has presidential immunity. So the question is, was it an official act? So they mentioned talking about appointing an ambassador dealing with a foreign government, but other official duties that may or may not be clear get presumption of immunity that can be pierced. The Supreme Court justices voted 6-3 along ideological lines in the decision and sent the case in which Trump pleaded not guilty to the charges accusing him of unlawfully plotting to overturn the results of the 2020 election back to a lower DC court. I want to get you in on this, Shelley. I just want to say this is what they mentioned in the opinion. The president is not above the law, the ruling said, but under our system of separated powers, the president may not be prosecuted for exercising his core constitutional powers, and he is entitled to at least presumptive immunity from prosecution for his official acts. Shelley, what's your thoughts on this? First response.
Well, of course, I'm going to say hooray. And I'm going to say hooray, not just for Donald Trump, but for our Constitution, number one. So where the Constitution is not clear does not mean that the Justice Department nor the Congress can just go carte blanche and make up stuff as they go along. That's not what it means. That's why we have 3 co-equal branches. So this is a win for Donald Trump, certainly, but it's certainly a win for America.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have, of course, the left has started on their unhinged, radical response to this. Crying, boohooing, screaming, hollering, taking it way, way out of context. And so, of course, we want to start off with that. We have Van Jones. He responded to the ruling on CNN today. Take a look at this. Of course, he's like, ooh, he's like he's a woman in men's clothing. I mean, take a look at this. Here he is now talking about the ruling out today.
It's bad. It makes the Supreme Court look very partisan. They're supposed to be wearing these kind of black and white umpire jerseys or whatever. They look like they're wearing red jerseys or even MAGA hats. It's going to go down bad politically for the Supreme Court. It's also scary because what is Trump going to do? If Trump gets elected and there's this idea that he can get away with even more stuff, that's really, really scary for the public because he already ran over every norm that he could. So it seems like, I'm just looking at this politically, not legally, politically, it's almost like a license to thug in a way. Like, you can do whatever you want, and the Supreme Court is let you get away with it. That is very frightening in this case, and so I'm very, very concerned.
He's always concerned. He's always afraid. Shelley, what's your response to him there?
Look, first of all, Van is on his way to having a nervous breakdown. Ever since the debate, I mean, he's been crying, he's been grieving, and now this decision, and not to mention the couple of the 2 or 3 decisions last week. So if you put all these in a context, the Supreme Court is basically showing us that they are at least as determined as possible to stick to the interpretation of the Constitution, which we call the original or the originalist. That's all they're doing. They're sending things back to the states where they're supposed to be, where most of the decisions are supposed to come from anyway. But these people on the left, they are apoplectic. And when they are apoplectic, Shelley is ecstatic.
Yeah. I want to acknowledge our super chatter here, getting us started tonight. Thank you so much here. Let me see here. We have Damien, New Yorker, says, "You're breaking through to the truth. Keep going, girls." All right. Thank you so much, Damien. Really appreciate that. So let's see here. Yes, thank you so much. All right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, to me, it's, as you mentioned, I always thought that the Constitution provides that the president has some type of immunity from these types of situations. And today, the Supreme Court upheld the integrity of our Constitution, as you mentioned, and rejected the dangerous notion that the president may be targeted by partisan political opponents, as he has been, we've seen.
Exactly. And you know what's interesting is that the left, again, they always accuse their opponents of what they're doing. But what another thing they never do, the flip side of that, is that they never think that what they would do or want to do is equally partisan as the charge that they're making to others. So had the Supreme Court gone a different way, they would have been cheering it. Right. And if we had said they were partisan, they would have said, no, that's not true. Or, whatever else they would say. But they never see themselves as the partisans that they are. If anything, if you are going to be at least, I would say somewhat honest, you would have to at least say that there's partisanship on both sides. It's not just one-sided.
Right. Exactly. Jan, I know you had some technical difficulties there, but what are your thoughts on this court case out today?
Well, I agree with Shelley that if this was if it was a Democrat president, that they definitely would have a different reaction and say that this is totally justified. So this is just because it's Trump. And again, they're just going to keep pushing that he's going to be a dictator and fascist. It's the same talking points over and over. So I agree with the decision. I think the president should have this partial immunity. So for certain things, there has to be freedom for him to make these decisions. And I'm really curious to see what will come out of it when it comes to the January 6th situation and the accusations of him supposedly enticing violence, so which did not happen.
Yeah. And if a president can't make hard decisions for fear of being prosecuted in the future, then we wouldn't have things like what Osama bin Laden, the killing of Osama bin Laden. We wouldn't have any Little Rock Central High School desegregation, no Civil Rights Act. Right. I mean, the list goes on. This just makes sense to me. I don't understand what the outrage is about.
And they kicked it back down to the lower courts to define what crimes you're specifically going to hold a president accountable for. You can't just say this carte blanche, I'm going to pick and choose, and certainly not because it's Trump or whomever else. You have to define. That's what they have done, and that's what they should do. Kick it back down to the lower courts and or the states, like in the case of Roe v. Wade, to make the decisions at the people's level, which is where it's supposed to be.
Exactly. Unfortunately, people, I guess the masses, are not going to see it that way. The way that it's presented for them is that President Trump has total immunity. That's how they're presenting it, and that if he becomes president again, that he would just be a total dictator. They'll just keep saying it, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah. And speaking of the masses, we get to this weekend, or actually yesterday, this cringe video of Kamala Harris and Taraji P. Henson. Guys, you may have to, there should be some type of parental advisory over this. It is so weird and so rehearsed. It's so clearly rehearsed. I mean, it's
everything that Kamala does is cringe.
Yeah, this by far is the worst. And I mean, Taraji is supposed to be this, Academy Award winning actress. She did not earn anything in this. Take a look at this, guys. This was them at the BET Awards this weekend, responding to talking about all the stuff that went on. Oh, okay, I gotta stop it.
Oh my God.
I'm out here in these streets. Come on, girl. Stop. That's what
is HU? Is that Howard University supposedly?
Howard University is 2 HUs. It's the Howard University and Hampton University. And that is something they say. If you go to Howard, they say the real HU, but this is so, it's artificial. This is not real, but they're trying to play to a certain culture, to a certain part of the Black culture. This is sick. She sounds so annoying. I'm going to move on. I'm going to keep going. So again, she said, as they say, they not like her. She's not even she don't even speak that way. She's talking about Kendrick Lamar. He just put out a new song, and it's called "They Not Like Us." Was this, refrain in the rap song? Like, this is what they're trying to play on, but it's not real. You can tell this is so fake. I would keep going. This is awful. But
there's a full-on attack on our fundamental freedoms. The freedom to our fundamental freedoms. The freedom to there's a full-on attack.
I want to show you.
You're not like us.
Here we go.
No, Taraji.
All right, here we go. So that's what it was. I mean, Shelly, is this what Black people want to see? Is this what Black people want to hear?
Yeah, unfortunately, many of them do. Many of them who want to are Black women. So I have to say yes to that. That's number one. The word today is cringe. In my day, we would just call it stupid. It's stupid. It makes no sense. It's just goofy. So I don't even know. I can't even find a word for it except stupid. I mean, but again, there are some Black people, unfortunately, and not even just Black people, but there are some lefties, many lefties or liberals, if you want to, some in some instance, they will fall for this, or they will hang on to this. They will drip, if you will, salivate over something like this, and it's absolutely meaningless. They don't even know who they are. They not like us. Well, if you're talking about people like me, I say thank God that I'm not.
Yeah. And she talking about they not like us. You're not like us. We are the ones in the streets. This woman lives in a gated community. They probably both do. They have security. They have armed guards. They not like us. We the ones got to walk out here in the streets of Baltimore. You talking about in these streets, in the streets of Baltimore, risking ourselves, in life and limb and things like that going on, having to navigate this climate. That we don't have armed guards. We don't have all this stuff. They do. Yana, what are your thoughts on this? Are people actually falling for this?
Unfortunately, I think some people will fall for this. This is like, to me, when I see this video, it looks like a soap opera, like the soap opera set, and very bad acting, just terrible. And it's very scripted, and they told them what to say, like they're not like us. And it's all like to just play on the strings of these masses of people of very low IQ. So it's almost like it's insulting to regular Americans, thinking, well, that they think that unfortunately some people will fall for it, but if they think that a lot of people will fall, or Black people will fall for it, that it's an insult, really.
It is.
Because they're showing that this is, and Kamala is fake in general. I think she's so fake because she doesn't believe anything that she says. Every time I hear her, it sounds like she doesn't believe herself. She's acting all the time, and she's not a good actress. She doesn't, I don't think she even believes herself that she's Black.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She doesn't. Let me tell you something. I mean, it's one thing to have grown up in this culture. Now, Taraji P. Henson, she grew up in this culture. Okay, so I could believe her. I just think they were, as we mentioned, reading a script, and it was poorly acted, poorly read. But all in all, she is, as they say, about that life. Okay, Kamala Harris is not. And you can clearly see it. And she continues to, wherever she goes, she tries to play. And I guess this is her role in the White House, to play to the Black community, I guess, because now she's like this ambassador for Black people all of a sudden. And they got her playing even in front. Remember when we posted the video of her in the front row at the Juneteenth event? She's dancing off beat. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. She goes to these locker rooms. There was another video. She was in a locker room at some event, and she's trying to, talk with the sports talk there, and she looked like a fool, a pure tea fool. This is not needed.
Every election, they pander and put out these same, if you will, tropes. They put out the same thing. These vague, scary boogeymen, but they don't even know what the issues really are, at least to really discuss and debate them. They don't know how to do that, but they do know how to demagogue and cause fear in much of their base, so that they can continue to be empowered. That's all this is about. They don't give a damn. The same crime that Kamala was talking about just now, if you really look into it, people, if you believe Kamala, that they just not like us, go and look at who really puts forth these crime bills, if you want to call it, and these crime policies that don't keep violent criminals locked up, that allow them to roam the street, that don't take away the guns from the violent criminals because they let them go through the revolving door, and then they make excuses for them as why they're back and forth in jail, and then they have to have all these bubble wrap services. These are the people like Kamala and Taraji, like KJ said, they live in gated communities. Kamala Harris has 24/7 protection paid for by us.
Right. And they're talking about things like, our right to love who we love and to vote and to be safe from gun violence is on the line. So, and these are the people who are the most protected. So they're protected with guns, and she's pandering. She's just repeating. They're repeating the same talking points. The whole thing about voting. What vote? Who is stopping anyone from voting? It's ridiculous.
I know, and this is why people love Trump. This is why, because Trump is Trump 24/7, 365. Exactly. When he first entered this race back in 2016, even when he was in the Republican primary, he was not kowtowing and things to, these establishment Republicans like Jeb Bush, like who's the guy from Texas? All those people who were in the primary who were slated to win. I can't even think of his name.
Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz. All of these people, he was himself through and through. Same Trump from 2016 is the one we're seeing today. And people crave authenticity. Right. And these Democrats just don't get it. We're tired of you being politician, changing who you are depending on the crowd. It's so old and phony, and it's unbelievable. And that's why people don't trust them. And they just don't get it. They really don't. All right. So speaking of that, we're moving along to another Taraji. So again, she was at the BET Awards. First of all, she is too old to be acting this way.
That's what I thought.
She is way too old for this. She does not have show any grace, any maturity. She's trying to hang with the young crowd, and she looks ridiculous.
I saw that opening, what is it, the pop out, whatever, the rap thing she did. It just she looked stupid. I'm just gonna keep saying stupid.
Yeah, I mean, she does. It's no other way to put it. And she does.
No class, no, I guess no graceful or grace about dignity. It's just, yeah.
And this is what's wrong with our culture anyway. I mean, she's not old, but I mean, the mature women just won't act their age. They always, it used to be a situation where when you got a certain age, you had confidence, you weren't acting thirsty. It was
class.
You
learn to have class.
Here she is here acting a whole fool. Take a look at this.
She did.
And lying through her teeth.
My sister.
All right. All right. We got to unpack what she said, because most of everything, honestly, everything she said was misinformation lie. Misinformation lie.
What is it? Misinformation, disinformation, just straight up lying.
Right.
Just playing on emotions, nothing else.
Exactly.
She doesn't even know what she really is saying. If you asked her to name the three justices that she's alluding to, but what justices are? I didn't know there were 3 seats up for retirement or I don't even know. What's she talking about?
I don't know. Her wig cap is too tight. First of all, the Supreme Court did not make it a crime to be homeless.
No, they did not.
Okay. In the case that she's referring to, the Johnson, the court held that it is not a violation of the 8th Amendment's prohibition on cruel and unusual punishment for local governments to simply enforce laws against sleeping or camping in public spaces.
Public.
Exactly.
Public spaces. Yeah, public. That's it. If anything, the Supreme Court upheld the right of the public to access public spaces. That's all they did. But I give you one thing. Think about this, Taraji, because they did not ban private spaces. You have a whole private gated community. Let them come and sleep on your lawn.
Exactly. And she talks about the next generation, how somehow it's in danger. First of all, with the rate of abortion in the Black community, that's where it is in danger. With the crime in the Black community, that's where it is in danger. With education failure in the Black community, that's where it is in danger. She's not talking about, I don't know, what is she referring to, even how the next, what is she talking about? And then immediately after that, she talks about homelessness. So what, the next generation is going to be homeless, and then they have no place to sleep? Is that her concern?
Right. And not only that, but what's his name? Supreme Court Justice Gorsuch noted in his opinion, the majority opinion, that neither the court's ruling nor the law it was reviewing criminalized the mere status of being homeless. Right. And I'm going to quote what he said. He says, rather than criminalize mere status, Grants Pass forbids actions like occupying a campsite on public property for the purpose of maintaining a temporary place to live. Under the city's laws, it makes no difference whether the charged defendant is homeless, a backpacker on vacation passing through town, or a student who abandons his dorm room to camp out and protest on the lawn of a municipal building. So again, this ruling, if she must not have been in a city lately, because she would see that these people are peeing, pooping in front of small businesses in cities across the country. They're blocking doorways. Here in Baltimore, you can easily walk downtown Baltimore and step in human poop. You can.
Yeah. And we as taxpayers, we're paying for these public properties. I want to be able to go to a park and enjoy a park that I'm paying with my tax dollars, and not be worried that there's going to be homeless, that there's going to be people who are doing drugs, or I don't know, that they have, I mean, unfortunately, they have mental problems. So they have to be removed, so then they can search for a safer place for them and a safer place for everyone else.
Yeah, that's the key word, public. All of these celebrities and all of these people who want to make space, you know, for the homeless, or what is it, the unhoused, they have perfect communities. They have gated lots. They have large compounds in Hollywood. Let them bring them in. You're not prevented from doing that on your own property. That's it.
And in fact, we have, like, we've always had good charitable organizations. Before the government steps in, people actually take more initiative to help the populations of people who need more support. So we shouldn't be putting the burden on everyone else to take care of it, but we need to have those philanthropists. We always historically had philanthropists who were providing housing for people, and it's available. The thing is that a lot of these homeless people, they choose to be on the street. They do not want to go into the facilities. So they choose to be there because, I don't know, they get fed there, or they just, I don't know why, but they have places to go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And there's been homeless people here that I've actually talked to in Baltimore, that businessmen, people who own business and entrepreneurs, have tried to get some of these people off the streets, and they just don't want to do it. Some of them just like to live on the street. And not only that, as you mentioned, Shelly, too, these people with all this money, these millionaires, they have plenty of properties all over the country. If they want to house homeless, let them house them that way. But the crazy thing about this is this ruling was advocated by liberals as well. I mean, and that's what's so crazy about her long monologue over this. California Governor Gavin Newsom, for example, praised the decision as removing the legal ambiguities that have tied the hands of local officials for years and limited their ability to deliver on common sense measures to protect the safety and well-being of our communities. He is quoted as saying that. And the list goes on. I think San Francisco Mayor London noted.
Yeah, you know why? Because these are the places that are dealing with homelessness.
Yeah. San Francisco mayor says this will help our public spaces more effectively and efficiently.
Right.
The list goes on. So this was a bipartisan decision. It was something that was wanted by people on the left and right.
So it's just a talking point. She's just saying it to, again, just incite emotion.
Yeah, it wasn't. And then her AOC, they have been calling now to impeach the Supreme Court justices. And again, this was not an extreme ruling. It certainly didn't make crime to be homeless. It was actually a good thing for small business owners.
Right. One of the things these people don't understand on the left, and I'll even say sometimes, not to a large degree, but sometimes people on the right, they don't understand that just because you don't agree with something doesn't mean it's illegal. It doesn't mean that it needs to be legislated either. And where the Constitution or the laws are not clear does not mean the default position is automatically criminal. So people don't understand that.
Yeah, you're right. And I hate to keep beating this drum as I usually do, but this is all part of communism, Marxism. And again, we told you guys in our last session or our last show, check out this 45 list of communist goals. They put this out back in the early 1940s. They put out their goals for America. And this is on number 22 on this list. It says to continue discrediting American culture by degrading all form of artistic expression. An American communist cell was told to eliminate all good sculpture from parks and buildings, substituting shapeless, awkward, and meaningless forms. And again, it goes along with the parks. They want to trash everything. They do not like beauty. They do not like cleanliness. They want this to be a place where vagabonds, homeless people, drugs like Kensington and Philly is scattered all over the place, making it ugly, dirty, and unusable.
And that makes sense, that it's like mixing the classes. So they don't want people to feel like there should be a division or any sort of standards to conduct. So they want to mix, everyone together. There's the homeless, there's the people who are doing drugs, all in the same place. And that definitely sounds like communism.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is their goal. It's their ultimate goal. As we mentioned in the last show, the Democrat Party has gone full commie. They have gone full.
Yeah, they really are.
They're not the party of our grandparents. No, it's not. And this is all by design. Again, I asked you guys to do a research on the 45 communist goals, and we are unfortunately right on schedule. Right on schedule. All right. So again, that was been really a big week for us. This is the 4th of July is coming up. I wanted to just ask you all, just with all that's going on, does the 4th of July have a deeper meaning for you, after all that we've seen go on as far as just the witch hunt against Trump? We've seen the left and how they have really perverted everything within not just culture, but in history. They're pushing us to hate our history, hate the foundations of America. I want to start with you, Shelley.
Yeah. In as much as I get, disappointed, sometimes maybe discouraged, upset, angry over all the different things that are going on in our society, the 4th of July, the holidays the 4th of July, Christmas, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, these are the holidays that mean even more to me. These are the ones that help me kind of circle back to what's really important, right? To keep me grounded, if you will. When on the 4th of July and other holidays, I try to read something that's meaningful. It doesn't have to be a whole treatise, but I try to read something that's meaningful and that will keep me on a sort of an even keel in spite of all that's going on. Because I know that, we still have work to do. We can get upset, and those are all normal things normal experiences, normal feelings. But in the end of it all, we can't just stop and quit and give up.
Right. What about you, Yana, as an immigrant coming here? You made, this is your home. This is your home now. You're planting roots and everything for many years. What does the 4th of July mean to you? And has it changed as you've been here and seen within the last couple of years things start to change?
Well, it definitely has grown in meaning over time. The more I learned about how the country was founded and what principles, and also it makes me worried that people are forgetting those principles at this point. And actually, something interesting happened on my vacation. I traveled to Mexico and I met people from Canada there who literally left Canada because it's so communist, because it's so oppressive, and they literally feel like they lost their country. And some of them have said that they want to have American citizenships. They want to become Americans and they will vote Republican if they become Americans. One person even said that they would love their whole province to become another state. So that was really interesting.
Oh.
And so at the same time, when I hear something like that, it gives me hope that there are people that still have hope for America and American values, that we are actually doing better comparatively to our neighbor to the north. And so, but we just need to keep fighting for these values because they're important. And it's just, we need to take care of it. We should not forget about these values and remind others to join. We have to be more united because there's an attack on America.
Absolutely. And we have to do our own research. It's very important that we, vet our sources. We can no longer depend on mainstream media to be an advocate, or as some used to say, the fourth wing of government. They are actually enemies of the state. They're used propagandic tools for the left. So we have to do our own research.
Right.
One thing that I came across this week is that actually Independence Day that we celebrate on the 4th actually occurred on July 2nd. So on July 2nd, in 1776, the Continental Congress officially voted for independence from Great Britain. John Adams was so thrilled about this monumental decision that he wrote to his wife Abigail, predicting that July 2nd would be celebrated for generations as the great anniversary festival. However, the formal adoption of the Declaration of Independence didn't happen until July 4th.
Right.
So that's something, definitely interesting, something that's not really pushed in schools that I'm aware of. So we definitely have to continue to do our own research. All right.
We have a number of, I guess I would say, holidays or days like that where, it happened on one day, but then it wasn't kind of ratified and all codified until whatever given day. So
Well, it was the signing of the Declaration of Independence happened on the 4th. So that's why they picked that
we
day.
have a number of holidays and things like that happened. They may have happened, however, and then they were finally officially signed and codified on a given day. So
Yeah. It just has, again, they're saying here in the reading that I have, his wife, John Adams' wife, was saying the second day of July 1776 will be the most memorable epoch in the history of America. So, it's just kind of like a little backstory to it. Yeah.
Right.
And one of the things to remember from that history is that the founding fathers really wanted to give rights to the states as much as possible.
Absolutely.
And they were really worried about the federal government acting exactly like the monarchy did. So, and that is something that people forget, because yes, in the beginning, it was very chaotic before they wrote the Constitution. It was chaotic because there was no, the states really had a hard time communicating and dealing with certain threats. But then we still should not forget that the states must have the right. The people in those states can decide on the laws inside their state as much as possible. And we should not treat the government as a king.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Right.
I bet you Abigail Adams, I bet you she would not have put John Adams up on the podium with dementia and like Jill did Joe. I just thought, I bet she wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, that's a good point there. And the crazy thing is, when speaking of the whole debate and the way we've seen President Biden act, when Trump was in office, the Democrats, all you heard was the 28th Amendment. That's all they talked about. The 28th Amendment. I'm sorry, 25th Amendment. 25th Amendment. 25th. I have a clip of that. Let me see here. I want to show you.
Invoked.
The 25th.
This is them every other day. They were talking about the 25th Amendment. Let me see here.
They surely were.
What exactly would have to happen to invoke the 25th Amendment in this country?
Obviously, in an ideal world, you would try to invoke the 25th Amendment, which I think is amply justified.
The man is deeply mentally unstable. The cabinet should convene immediately to discuss the 25th Amendment.
If he's crazy and incompetent and stupid, then we have to look at the 25th Amendment.
People in the president's inner circle have brought up the 25th Amendment at least 20 times.
This is 25th Amendment kind of stuff.
The whisper campaign over the 25th Amendment.
We're going to talk about the 25th Amendment.
Let's talk about the 25th Amendment.
Look at the 25th Amendment.
Yeah. I mean,
over and
over again.
Maybe we should consider the 25th Amendment.
You know what?
Amendment.
Just like they did last week on the after the debate, they were all in chorus almost instantly, right? They were in chorus at, Biden has to go. This is not good. Van Jones crying, John King basically saying, he has to go. Same thing there. But again, they don't see themselves as partisan. They are so blinded to their own ways. It's scary.
It is scary. And this is why I hope people are talking to their liberal family and friends, because this is what they watch over and over again and again. And it's propaganda. You mean to tell me that we can sit and watch them push this 25th Amendment over and over again about Trump, but we literally just saw the president of our country mumble jumble. I mean, the next thing I was looking for him is this drool right out of his mouth.
He was nearly dead. He was nearly dead then. It was pitiful. But these people who are talking about the 25th Amendment back when Trump was in office, they know exactly what they're saying. And they that's why I always quote John Adams when he said our Constitution was made only for immoral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. These people are not moral.
No.
And so they will use the Constitution the way that they want.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And speaking of that takes me to our next topic. So we were talking about the BET Awards earlier. And we were singling in on Taraji and Kamala's cringe-worthy conversation. But I mean, the actual awards were pretty just out of control. And so there's a rapper, he's an independent rapper. His name's D1. And really, I'm a big fan of his. And he came out with a sort of a rap talking about how just perverted and immoral the BET Awards and, for that matter, Black culture has turned into. Take a look here. I have it. I want to show you guys.
On the awards show and the things I seen on the screen to make me cause a scene, cause it's so obscene. We call women queens, but we celebrate the prostitution of their bodies. I seen people thanking God, but none of their music was godly. I know we grown, but it was song after song. Deep down, we all know it's wrong, but I see myself staring too long when I'm feeding myself the poison, and the poison feeding me back, cause you know the devil only go tempt you where you weak at. To purify my eyes, I keep them closed and think back to the days mama ain't buy us expensive clothes. We had to enjoy each other's company with no distractions, no cell phones or designer fashion, just love and laughing. Why you not in super fat?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is what he's talking about here. But again, so we have this whole thing where especially Black women want to be called queen, go queen, all this type of stuff. And they put themselves out there like whores.
Like stripper. I mean, this is stripping what they're doing.
The whole award show was nothing but a display of whoredom. Is that a word?
Yeah, that's a word.
Yeah, that's all they did. And not only that, and then it was women. I don't even know if they had many. I don't believe they had many Black actors and performers there. It was so much so that Usher, R&B singer Usher, had a tribute to him, and they used women to do the whole tribute. It was really
I saw that tribute. Now you said something about they had Black performers. I thought I saw most of the performers were Black. I thought
that's what I said. Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Mostly, but mostly women.
Most of them were women. After that little Usher part, I saw that. I find that problematic with the women because his song was about a woman. What do you would prefer? They had men singing the song? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah. I mean, most of the time, when you have a tribute to a singer like Usher, he's a man. They were
but I think as songs. Yeah, but I don't think I guess I'm thinking from a aesthetics. I don't think men wanted to see men doing that song on the stage like that.
Most men who are singers, Luther Vandross, they did one to Chris Brown many years ago. I mean, if you Prince. You have generally men do the tribute, and specifically the one that they did. One of the parts of the tribute they had was two women dancing with one another. It was
I saw that
to mimic the video he did. He was a man. He was dancing with a woman. I think it was.
They had one man. I saw one man and one woman.
Of course, to push this LGBT thing, gender bending. They had to have two women dancing with one another. When in fact, the original video was he dancing with a woman.
I got that. I hear what you're saying, but on that clip or whatever that segment, they did have one man dancing with a woman. Now, I didn't like all that women dancing with women. I guess I was thinking that Usher didn't want to see men dancing in tribute to him and giving a tribute to him.
No, that's wrong. Most of the artists, you want to see a man sing his songs.
No, I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying since Usher was giving the tribute, I didn't think he wanted to have men up in his face.
I've never seen that.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he wanted. That's what I'm saying. I don't think Usher wanted men gyrating in his face.
The men wouldn't gyrate.
Why should they gyrate? Why should anyone gyrate?
Because one of the women came down the aisle singing the song.
That's what they did. That's what they did. They totally messed it up, and they didn't do a good job. They didn't do a good job at all. At all. It was awful. But again, they did it to push this agenda. They did it. They had a girl dress up in a men's outfit, dance with another girl. It was stupid. Yeah. It was not even. This is what I'm talking about. It's just like they want to push this agenda so much. It even takes away from the artistry in many times, in many different times. It takes away from it. It was ridiculous.
There's no class. It's also this promotion of culture of deviancy, and I mean these women literally look like they're in a strip club. So they're showing that basically Black culture is this. So if anyone else from, let's say, another country is watching it, or people are coming into this country and they see Black entertainment television, and then they turn this on and like, oh, well, this is Black culture. So like, what kind of message is it sending? And
just what you said.
Right. And it's unfortunate because I feel like, I mean, for a conservative family, like this is really hard. How do you raise children when they end up watching this and they're very susceptible to this kind of display? So then you have teenagers, performing this, dancing the same way and acting the same way. It's tough to preserve a normal culture when you have this pushing on you all the time.
Most of these awards, the Essence, whatever, the BET, and most of them have turned into I don't know, almost like trash, yes, but they're not about artistry, like you said. They're not about creativity. They're not about musicality. They are a political agenda. This is largely entertainment for the same types of political types that feed off of this. This is their entertainment, just like Hollywood. Hollywood has a base, and they entertain themselves with the Holly weird stuff. Same thing here. The thing here, difference is that this is largely Black people.
Yeah. I want to acknowledge our super chatters here tonight. Thank you guys so much. Mark, hey Mark, says tell them ladies. Yes, we will. Thank you so much, Mark. And LAPD SWAT, did you check out the Conference of the Future in September 24th, NYC? Odds on Van Jones crying this fall.
You're going to cry a few more times before the fall.
Yeah, I'm sure. Thank you so much, LAPD SWAT. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's really sad. It really is sad. It's sad. And as you mentioned, Deanna, you know, someone who was being introduced to Black culture, you know, and to see that, I would be embarrassed. I would be ashamed. And that's why I was saying about Taraji. I think she's older than all of us, you know, and she's out there in this. She's out there in this.
Right. And her dress is like literally falling off her chest.
No, that's how it's supposed to be, Yana. That's how it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is what she's doing. You know, she didn't look bad. She didn't look too bad, but again,
it just doesn't fit. She didn't look bad, but it just doesn't fit. It's just over the top for her. It just seems like it's over the top. I mean, the hair looking like Diana Ross. I mean, I get it. You're on stage, and when you're on stage and you're performing, of course, the costumes are going to be a little bit more, I guess, outlandish, if you will. That's just for the, you know, for the show of it. But she's cringe.
And not only that, but when you think, you mentioned Diana Ross. Now, first off, I am not a Diana Ross fan, but when you mention Diana Ross, she had the long hair, she had the beautiful costumes and outfits,
right?
But she walked and handled herself with class.
Absolutely,
with class.
Absolutely,
you know, this was not class. You know, having her scream.
This
is ridiculous. Yeah.
So, again, she was talking to like the lowest denominator. You could tell, like she was even trying. You could tell that she probably can speak with more class than the way that she was speaking.
But this is what they're banking on. The lowest denominator is right. They are banking on people being, one, uneducated, uninterested, and just using either stuff like this or maybe money or you know, celebrity to encourage them to vote for whomever they tell them to.
Exactly.
They don't want you thinking about how this will affect you, your community, your pocketbooks, generations to come. None of that is relevant. They want you dumb as an ox, uneducated, uninformed, and do what they tell us to do. This is what they want us. This is how they want.
And why do they do that? Because it has worked for them before.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you're right. You're right. All right. Well, on that note, that does it for us tonight. We will be back on Wednesday.
Yep.
We will be back here on Wednesday with a live in studio on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. So please, if you aren't subscribed, subscribe, hit the notifications bell so you know when we go live. But we will be back on Wednesday night. All right. So until then, as I always say, we have our shop here. We have our store. If you guys want to check it out, we definitely appreciate you guys supporting us that way. More to come, lots more to come from us. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on Poppin' Politics throughout the week. So definitely subscribe if you haven't done so already. Again, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
What's up, guys? We are the ladies of Pop and Politics, and guess what? We have merchandise.
We got merch.
Check
it out. Check it out.
We have a website, www.popandpoliticslive, where you guys can pick up the latest merchandise that we have here. Here's something, I use this every morning for my cup of tea. It's a Pop and Politics mug. Yeah, I drink every morning tea. And I love it. So definitely check it out. We've got some cute shirts on there. Shelly, you have a shirt there that you love, right? Yes, cute shirt. And so definitely check it out. Again, www.popandpoliticslive.com. Appreciate the support. All right.
Go there now.
Yes.
There you go.